a second here. I'm going to put in another tune, see if I can get that up and running. And I'm going to get on with the astrodoodle, okay? What's going on? I'm just going to leave it like that for now. It's a very messy astrodoodle because a lot of the energy is very concentrated in a few tight places. So there's a lot of overlapping in the way I colored it. Maybe I overdid it a little bit. So Gregory, thank you very much. I got you here, but we've been going for half an hour already, and everything was kind of okay here, but it looks like YouTube is really struggling to carry the signal, and I did everything to streamline everything as tightly as possible here so that there's the least chance of destabilization. And a bunch of people showed up early. We had Delisha Williams, and we also had Jeffrey, and they've all booked readings. So I'm hoping that they get the signal and that they can come back in time. Meanwhile, I don't know if there's, I can't imagine there's anyone here because I had to stop the whole show and just reboot everything. Ivona is here. Hello, Ivona. Thank you. So somebody must be getting some signals. It shows that there are a few people here, so maybe the reboot is working. So Delisha especially and Jeffrey especially, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys come back because you paid good money, and I want to get your readings, of course. Delisha, thank you, Delisha. Excellent. All right. Sometimes it gets very technical. Like I said, I got a good computer, but the reality is that the way I do things here, it takes a lot of power to do what I do, and even with a really good computer, it's still not enough. So one day I'm hoping I'm going to get rich. I'm going to buy a big fat i9 PC, and that'll have huge horsepower, humongous amounts of power that I can use to stream. It'll be a lot more stable. In the meanwhile, greetings and hello. Let's go back here. Let's connect in person. Hi. I managed to reboot this stream. I don't know who's getting signals or, notifications or what anymore. It's impossible to tell with this channel anymore. So I'm just, we're living on a wing and a prayer, as they say. That's the expression, I believe. So Delisha, yes, we've got you booked. And Gregory, we've got you booked. I'm hoping that Jeffrey shows up and we will be able to do his reading too. Thank you all for being here. We just had the eclipse, and the eclipse energy is just starting to unfold, and it was a new moon eclipse. So what happens is I think the only places they could see it was down in I think it was the Antarctic, and it was like a kind of a skewed eclipse, and somebody filmed it down in the Antarctic. It was a very pristine kind of eclipse, and it did that beautiful thing. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these eclipses live. I have. I feel very, very fortunate to have witnessed these types of eclipses. Really big and very, very accurate. I was exactly in the right location at the right time to see it all, and it's a very profound experience, and it's no wonder that ancient civilizations would be very, let's say, disturbed by the eclipses. They knew that they would signal some kind of like timestamp in their life experience. Eclipse, the word eclipse means to obscure, to cut out the ability to see. Something is obscured completely. And with a full moon eclipse and a new moon eclipse, they're both eclipses. But with the new moon eclipse that we just had, the moon obscures the sun. It's amazing how the geometry works, that it just so happens that the size of the moon and the distance of the moon is at like in perfect geometric alignment, such that you get this effect, which is really profound. I mean, if the moon was bigger, you wouldn't get this. If the moon was smaller, you wouldn't get this. If the moon had a slightly different orbit, you wouldn't get any of this. But this is how it is. Susie Q. Hello, everyone. Susie Q? Susie Q. I have a confession to make from my childhood, and I will confess to you later on. Just hang in with us for a little bit. I just want to finish the introduction here. So I'm going to go back to the astrodoodle. Sorry it's taken me so long to get up and stabilized. I'm going to go back to the astrodoodle and see if I can fill in a few notes for you. So a couple of weeks ago we had the full moon eclipse. And I don't know about you guys, but personally for me, it was a massive culmination of multiple versions of stressful dynamics. It was on the Scorpio Taurus axis, if you recall. It was a Scorpio sun and a Taurus moon. There was a lot of emphasis globally on the world financial systems. For me personally, it was to do with people who are, let's say, needing health care above and beyond your average. Hold on, that reminds me. This is part of my healthcare program now. Hello, Jeffrey. Oh, you're back. Thank God. Sorry I lost you guys. It was just a really bad. Tonight I'm blaming YouTube, not the planets. But anyway, I'm glad we're still here. YouTube is still functional. Maybe everything's fine, and I'm just, whining and moaning. So everything culminated over here in my world at the eclipse. It was extremely demanding for everybody in my life and my world, in every way you can imagine. Friends and family, health, finances, emergency situations, eclipses bring things into really full focus, and they kind of obscure anything and everything else that's irrelevant so that you can focus on the energy of the eclipse. And now here we are 2 weeks later, the new moon solar eclipse over here, where the sun is in Sagittarius and the moon was in Sagittarius. I'll show this to you close up over here. Here's the moon tonight. The moon is already in Capricorn, but yesterday, early yesterday, the moon was over here, conjoined with the sun in Sagittarius. So, eclipse, new moon, Sagittarius, and that's the last of the Sagittarius Gemini nodal axes eclipses that have been going on for almost a year and a half now. So the energy is going to shift. The story's not over, but the energy is going to shift. I want to bring out a couple of things in particular. Just bear with me, okay? I can ramble and I can go all over the place. But right now, tonight, we have some very, very rich, harmonious energy themes going on between Mars, Moon, Venus, Pluto, and Neptune. This is very rich, harmonious energy. Again, it's just random sacred geometry. It's just how it is at this moment as the planets whiz around. These are very harmonious configurations. And so I am personally enjoying that, and I'm feeling it very strongly, and I'm taking full advantage of it to get a lot of rest. I've been resting 11, 12, 13 hours a night for the last few days, and I still need that kind of rest, probably for the next few days as well. And that's all to do with catching up from the last, I would say, 3 to 6 months of stresses accumulated. In my personal life, the Sagittarius-Gemini axis is very much to do with health and healing. And so it was heavily activated over the last year, and it came to this culmination 2 weeks ago, a massive culmination. And we've come out the other side like a breath of fresh air. I'm completely exhausted, but I am recovering. We're starting again with the Sagittarius new moon eclipse. So everyone has this point somewhere in their chart. If you're a Sagittarius, it's right there, somewhere in there. It could be anywhere. This is just a piece of sacred geometry. This could lie anywhere in your chart. And wherever that point lies, okay, wherever that point lies, wherever this, it's basically sun, it's about 6 degrees. Sun and moon, 6 degrees Sagittarius. Wherever that chart point lands in your chart, that's where the new moon Sagittarius solar eclipse energy is affecting you personally. Okay, I'm not going to go into any of that here. If anybody wants personal readings, you can get in touch with me here at alittlebookabout@yahoo.com. That's my email, and we can book a private thingamy. Okay. There's also a lot of harmonious energy between little Chiron over here and Aquarius and Saturn energy over here. So that's nice. It's nice to know that's there. But the big heavy-duty players haven't changed that much. Pluto is still hovering around in the high 20s here. Venus is very close in the high 20s. That's a very nice configuration. To me, it's a very powerful indication of like a profound realization of the power and the value of relationships. Okay? In your life, your world, my world, and for everybody. Your relationship to the world relationship to you, and how you take care of that in the long term, or the responsible way to deal with love and relationships. The moon is there too, so you've got a strong energy field here. Moon in Capricorn tends to be very somber, kind of reclusive, quiet. Depends how it affects you, of course. It's a whole different story. The tricky part, of course, is Jupiter square Mars. And that's more like, with Jupiter, it's hard to find a lot of problems anywhere. When Jupiter is squared to Mars, you could expect that it's like your natural. Okay, I don't want to get too stuck into the signs that Jupiter in Aquarius, Mars in Scorpio. Jupiter in Aquarius is asking human beings to figure out what is your best placement in humanity. How can you best place yourself for the benefit of the community, of humanity itself, rather than the benefits of you? And Mars in Scorpio is a very deep, piercing, almost surgical kind of energy, forcing us to go very deep into that examination. And it could be really uncomfortable for some people. The way I see it on a planetary scale, a lot of people are starting to look around at each other as enemies. Like, well, which side are you on, people? And the energy of the elites, those people at the very, very tippity top of the food chain who are trying to control and manipulate planet Earth and farm the whole of humanity, they have their own agenda about what works for them, and one of their tools is to segregate and break humanity apart, where we are not interested in the welfare and beneficence of humanity, but we are actually conflicted with each other. In other words, we're starting to look at each other as enemies, and that's not good. And a lot of that you can relate to with the bugs, those injections that people are getting. They're trying to segregate the whole world into, are you injected, are you not injected? If you're not injected, then you are the enemy. You are causing all the problems for the injected people. I mean, it's just mind-boggling the lunacy of these storylines that they're creating and propagating out there. But it's effective. There's tens of millions of people on Earth who've been injected, and they think that they've been saved by God. And they don't understand what's really going on. I'm not going to get deep into that. I might get shut down, so I'm not going to go there, okay? The next thing we have here is Saturn hard squared to Uranus. Uranus is now in direct motion, so we're going to get these serious reality checks with global financial systems. and how it works in ways that's best for humanity. Saturn is testing human beings, and how are we behaving in a way that is most ethical and responsible, lawful and just for humanity, especially when it comes to money and shared resources. Who is basically, the way I look at it, to me it's very obvious what's going on here with this axis is that there's a bunch of people who are tapping into like the very shadowy, dark aspects of Saturn and Pluto and Venus. Remember, Venus is one of the money planets. And they're trying to manipulate it so that global financial systems work for their favor, so they can continue to operate in their dystopian nightmare structures that they've created for humanity in order to farm humanity. But there's enough people waking up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up with money. A lot of people are starting to wake up with finances and question their finances, question global finances, like what the bleep is going on? People are starting to realize like the karmic kickback is like, wow, we've been screwed. We've been totally, utterly reamed and screwed. The people who are benefiting are the people at the very tippity top who operate the scam, okay? And it works for them. But it sucks for everyone else, because everyone else is basically being farmed, okay? Yeah, I see your notes there. Hi, Nikki. Jupiter will be moving into Pisces fairly soon. I'll have to check into that. Let me just check. I don't think I've got anything here lined up. I'm starting to set up my calendars for 2022. Let me go into that now we're here. Couple of dates for everybody. These are the standout dates that jump to my mind very, very quickly. These are the eclipses for 2022, if you want to mark your calendars. It's all about Taurus and Scorpio and Taurus energy. So it's very much going to be to do with global finances. Global finances are going to be a huge dominant theme across the world, one way or another. And the question is, how is that going to affect you personally? What's happening in the global financial sphere regarding your wealth, your talent, your resources, your money, your natural gifts, and how they are being either exploited or protected by the so-called, let's say, custodians of money, other people's money. Remember, Scorpio, OPM, other people's money. Taurus, your money, your gifts, your talents. Scorpio energy, like taxes, insurances, savings, IRAs, 401ks, bonds, trading, investing, okay? Putting your money in someone else's custody, hoping that they can do a better job with your money than you can with your money. It's a very dangerous concept, but that's what billions of people do on Earth. You really have to question that model, okay? So the whole of 2022, in my perspective, is going to be very much to do with money. Money, 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 okay? The next interesting thing to me, it's a big standout, is the Pluto return of the United States of America. It's happening roughly at the end of February 2022 and into early March 2022. Remember, Pluto moves extremely slowly, so you have to give it a very wide spectrum. So we're going to feel it in February and March. Let's put it that way. So it's literally, we're only a few months away. And like we talked about this at other times where, okay, so here's the moon. Okay, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Moon, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. The moon orbits very, very quickly around the Earth. Every 28 days it does one of these. And the Earth takes 365 rotations to do this. Mercury is about the same. Venus is sort of similar. Mars takes about 2.5 years to do one of these. Jupiter takes about 12 years to do one of these. Saturn takes almost 30 years to do one of these. Uranus takes about 84 years to do one of these. So you could experience a Uranus return in your own lifetime if you live beyond 84. Neptune, no. That's about 100 and... So, let's see, 100, what is it, 100 and... 130, 160, 170 years, roughly. I think that's what it is. I can't remember offhand. But that's a very long orbit. You know, to do all of that. Yeah, it's about 170 years. 170 years to go from here to here. So you're never going to see a Neptune return in your own lifetime physically on your astrology chart. Same thing with Pluto. This is about 250 years to go from here to here. Okay? So you're never going to see that. That's why they call these like the transpersonal planets, and these are the impersonal planets, because the movement is so slow from our perspective on Earth that we don't see it or feel it in the way that we sense Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Moon, okay, and the Sun. Because those energies, we feel them very strongly and very directly, especially the Moon, okay? Hello, Tina, I see you. So, back to my point here, the United States is going to experience its first Pluto return. To me, as far as I can tell, this is the first time in human history that humanity will be able to observe a Pluto return by observation. The only way you can do it is to take an entity, a body, like, for example, the United States. If you treat the United States as an organism, as an entity that has an astrological profile, which is what a lot of people do. I believe we have an identity, an astrological identity. And then what's happened is roughly 250 years ago, we were at 1776. And a lot of people consider 4th of July 1776 as the birth of the United States, like the official one. And there's lots of other, arguments around that, but for the sake of this video here, we're taking it as 1776. So going way back in history, 1776, the United States was official. It's like getting its birth certificate. And here we are, about 250 years later, we've just done a Pluto return. Now, the actual birthday is going to be on the 4th of July later this year, but the actual degree of Pluto return is going to be end of February, early March, okay? So, with that, energy, whether you're talking about the United States or a human being, Pluto typically represents the least evolved aspect of our nature. No matter how harmonious your aspects and placements. It's so hard to integrate Pluto energy into our bodies, and we've only been aware of Pluto physically as an actual entity in the last, 150 years. Before that, for humanity, for humankind, it was just like mythology, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. They were just mythological energy fields out there ascribed by the sages and the astronomers and the astrologers over thousands of years, because they knew that there was something out there in our solar system that affected humanity, but they couldn't see it. See, the difference here is Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. You can't see those with the naked eye, but you can see all the others. You can see the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. You can see all of those with the naked eye, and even with a really good binoculars or a telescope. You can see all of that. It's incredible. And those are called these are the transpersonal, impersonal. But the point is, with the Pluto return, none of us as human beings are ever going to witness that in our own astrology. But we can observe what it could be like by observing in the United States. So a lot of you have heard about the Saturn return, okay? Here is Saturn. The Saturn return, it's about 30 years. For a lot of human beings, when they approach the age of 27 and a half, 28, 29, 30 years old, they often come to this sense of reckoning in their life, where they become acutely aware that there are forces above and beyond them as an individual, and it can be really crushing at times if you've been living your life very unconsciously, basically like living your life off of your default systems, your natural, let's say, default astrological settings, your natural hormones, your natural instincts, where you just lived and you just did what you did. But you only, when you get to the Saturn return, that's like the first big calendar moment in life where you actually start to see like this karmic calendar, like this karmic report card unfolding in front of you. And it's very vivid for some people. For some people, they might be very lucky. They achieved their destiny, their goals in their 20s and late 20s. And it shows in their chart, in their life, in their achievements and their success in life, the way they are measured and rewarded, like going to school or going to class. And some people, let's say like you're a pop star or something, and you were very successful, wealthy, and famous, like Adele or something, or who's like a really young pop star. And they reach their culmination, a glorious culmination, by the time they're like 27, 28, 29, okay? But for most people, the Saturn return is actually a pretty bumpy ride. It's like going through this like really bumpy chapter in life where it's like getting a report card handed to you by the schoolmaster. And basically saying, hello, Jeffrey. Hello, Gregory. Hello, Delisha. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Tina. This is your report card. Hello, Susie Q. This is your report card for the life that you've led to date. You will be held accountable. Well done. You did all this, and this, and this, and this. Congratulations. Well done. You deserve all your rewards, your achievements, your salary, your income, your maturity, your, let's say, recognition and success in the world. Congratulations. However, for some people, the report card could be quite grim. In other words, like a checklist. Oh, you screwed up at that. You were dishonorable. Oh, you screwed up at that. You were a thief. You lied. You cheated. You were lazy. You were a thief. You stole this. You tried to avoid responsibilities. You tried to sneak through life, like a huge list of failings and losses that you're supposed to handle in your life up to that point. But if you don't do it, then you are held accountable. Thank you, Saturn. Okay? You can thank Saturn. And of course, for a lot of people, the vast majority of people have effectively a really bumpy ride when it comes to the Saturn return. Because honestly, for most people, we live our life through conditioning from the way that we're born and raised. Whoever gave birth to us and raised us as children into adulthood, that leaves a very powerful conditioning. And of course, on top of that, we have our own intuitive nature, and then there's stuff that we learn through active interaction with the world around us. But overall, it translates into life. And those are all choices, are all decisions. The healing power of decisions, the phenomenon of decision making becomes extremely vivid when you reach Saturn return for the first time. Hello, Carmen Belcher. Britney Spears. Save Britney. Save Britney Spears. So, like with this report card, some people got really lucky. But that's rare. Most people have a really bumpy ride. So you get to this point for the Saturn return where you're at a point in life where you realize, wow, I can't it's going to be very hard to go forward in life without either making amends or trying to repair or fix or overcome the challenges or deal with all the issues that were avoided or neglected or that you didn't even know exist. Either way, they have to be dealt with. So what tends to happen next for a lot of people, they start a new journey, okay? There's a reason I'm talking about the Saturn return tonight. Here's Saturn, okay? Let's say it takes you almost 30 years. And for a lot of people, it's a very bumpy ride. When you get to the last year or so, you start to realize, oh my God, what was I thinking? You start to see your whole life falling apart. Like, I shouldn't have done this or this or this or this. I shouldn't have made the decision to be this, this or this or that, or do this or that. Decisions, decisions, decisions. And then you start to realize, oh my God, I'm the only one who's responsible for my decision making. And when you start to realize that a lot of your decision making leads to outcomes, and you realize, were all my decisions driven by like hormones, default conditioning, fear, ego, and all these biochemical things? Or did I take deliberate, conscious consideration of my life and my world around me before I make the decision, and then make a fully conscious, calculated decision? Okay? For most people, that's really, really hard. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get at with talking about the Saturn return is that when you actually get to the last 28th, 29th year, 9.5, almost 30th year, it can be very, very uncomfortable. A lot of people feel depression, loss, failure, grief, sorrow, loss of faith, loss of the will to live. They feel dejected, rejected, lost, confused, because they start to realize, oh my God, what was I thinking? And the problem is you weren't thinking. You were just behaving according to conditioning, okay? Now, just imagine everything I just talked about with the Saturn return, but amplify that on a much deeper and more profound scale where it goes far, far more deeply into the soul structure. The very, very core and depth of your soul, which is ultimately about power. The power, the ability to be born and to live and then to die. And the understanding that, wow, I was born, I am living, and I am going to die. What am I going to do with all of that? Are you going to abuse that energy, or are you going to optimize that energy? If you decide to abuse that energy, then God help you, there is a very sinister outcome. If you decide to optimize that energy, let's just say somehow you're so evolved as a human being, you understand a little bit about Pluto. Let's say you're born with really strong harmonious trines to Pluto, and your ride with Pluto isn't so painful as a lot of people. Then by the time, let's say if you could live to like 250 or 300 years, you would have your Pluto return, and you realize, wow, I really screwed up. I really, really, really screwed up. And let's pretend like the United States is a person. The United States was born with a very idealistic imprint, okay? 4th of July, 1776, and then the Constitution, 1783, whatever it was. The whole idea of creating a better world for humanity by choice, not by dictatorship, not by evil, not by power, not by exploitation, but by honoring and respecting the rules of law, the rules of nature, the rules of heaven, universal truth, as opposed to human designed truth, which can be very bogus compared to universal truth. So anyway, we're talking about power. Pluto, I would talk, to me, it's like power. The power for birth, the power for destruction. Pluto energy, when it's used properly, is the most powerful healing energy on Earth. And it's very strongly associated with Scorpios. There's a lot of Scorpio energy in healers. There tends to be, especially the more energy type healer types. But also with money. Scorpio is very much associated with all the power that comes with having a lot of money. That Scorpio theme, remember Pluto is the planet that rules Scorpio, and next year we're going to have wall-to-wall eclipses Taurus Scorpio, so it's going to be all about the money. So, for the United States was born with this very Aquarian South Node theme. I'll show you in the charts in a minute. And the idea is to rise up and be a beacon of light for the rest of the world in a way that works for humankind, humanity, the whole of humanity, not just a certain elite branch. Okay? Now, the United States is born with Pluto retrograde, so that makes things a little more awkward. But in general, you can talk about the energy of decay. So for the United States, with the Pluto return approaching, imagine this. This is a ticking clock. 1776. Wars, Civil War, blah, blah, blah. World War, different wars, World War II. Power, money. America becomes supremely dominant and powerful across planet Earth. And everybody on planet Earth starts to look at the United States as the beacon of hope and freedom and independence and sovereignty and respect of the individual rights. And then, as we get over here, we start to realize, wait a minute, it's not actually working, because what they realize is that as soon as the energy is born here, it's dying. Okay? As soon as anyone is born, you're dying. Okay? You're born here, and actually you do grow and you do evolve and everything, but essentially you get to the point where you die. Pluto is associated with birth and death, and crossing that boundary, that dark, scary world that terrifies a lot of people, the energy of death. So the placement of Pluto in the American chart is very important. So what's happened to the United States is we were born with a very powerful Pluto alignment, very heavily and strongly aspected, with very, very good intentions with the Aquarian South Node. We set very, very high standards for ourselves here in America, as designed by the forefathers of the United States that we know today, who created this thing called the United States, this entity, this living thing, and the Constitution, which is also a living, breathing thing. But we're at this point right now where that thing called the Constitution, which is what brought so much hope to the individuals of humanity, is now being completely perverted and lost and questioned to the point of, is it dead? That's the big issue. Is it dead? Is it not just like, oh, it's a little bit awkward. Is it completely dead? Because there are certain groups of people at the very highest levels of society who would love for this thing called the United States to be dead, because the United States is the biggest obstacle to their complete command and takeover of the whole of the global financial system. So they can not only just farm the United States and parts of Western Europe and China, whatever, they can farm every human being on Earth. They farm you for your power, your energy, which is encapsulated in money, which is sucked out of you and pumped into them. Okay? I don't want to play that game. So let me go into greater detail here. Here's a very rudimentary chart for the United States. Here's the Aquarius South Node, okay? The Aquarian energy is very, what's the word? Active at the moment. all the wonders of the Aquarian energy and all the tests and challenges. It's been going on for at least a year, and we still have more to do. Taurus, Uranus in Taurus is heavily affected. Mars is in Scorpio right now, okay? This is what's happening right now. Pluto is here at about 25, 26 degrees, and in February and March, Pluto is going to be just over here a nudge into the 27th degree. That is the Pluto return. 250 years, okay? And on the American chart, it looks like this. Here's a crude chart for the United States. This is what the United States charts look like. I pointed out a few highlights here. At the birth of the United States, 4th of July, 1776, we had Sun, Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury all piled up here in a huge, beautiful stellium in Cancer. Americans are very home-loving. Real estate and homes and property and family is a very, very core element of American culture. You know, barbecues, weekends, home building, the most beautiful homes, and so on. But it's also the sign of the 8th house of other people's money. And over here, there's Pluto in Capricorn in the house of actual money and wealth. You could say Pluto represents the plutocracy, and Mercury represents commerce, day-to-day commerce. This is the axis of creative destruction. Sun, creativity. Pluto, absolute destruction. So what's happened in American history, we have a long history of creative destruction. Classic example is the automobile. In order for the automobiles to flourish, the automobile companies had to consolidate, and then they had to destroy the railway systems across the country down to a skeleton. And then replace the railways and replace the horses and carts and carriages with automobiles. That's creative destruction. But it created tremendous wealth for the automobile and the oil and gas industry. But it had to destroy the pre-existing culture. So you could put that to a lot of other things that are happening in America. It's also happening with the financial system. It's happening with technology. It's happening with business. How the corporatocracy has basically destroyed millions of small independent family farms around the country in order to consolidate into a handful of about 6 major big agro corporations that control everything for their benefit at your loss, at your expense. Okay? Anyway, this is what is in question coming up early next year. We're going to be at this point. So here we are, 1776. Here we are about 250 years later. Whoop, Pluto return. What did the United States do with all its power? Well, from my perspective, what has happened is, to me, it looks like the United States has done a classic, return type of energy, where it is realizing, like, being born with such an egalitarian and, let's say, idealistic hope for the future, where the United States could be a beacon of light for the rest of the world. What's actually happened is that beautiful energy was so slowly but very systematically degraded. It was like born into something incredible. And then especially in the 1950s after World War II, everything culminated to like a point of maximum expression for the good and the bad of the United States. And then after that, depravity and I would say gluttony and greed set in, and degradation set in to the point where we are here right now today, where America is a very sad, corrupted shadow of itself. In other words, it's sort of like a Saturn return, like I talked about here, but on a much more extreme level. The United States is going to be held accountable Just like each one of us as individuals are held accountable at our Saturn return, the United States is being held accountable at its Pluto return. So the accountability includes how wonderful it has been for the rest of the world to enjoy this new concept that was enshrined in this thing that we call the United States, and how we acted as a beacon of hope for sovereign individuality across the world. The problem is that is the problem. There are certain, let's say, very, very highly concentrated groups of people, a very, very tiny number of extremely powerful people who basically have all the money and control on the money through the banking systems. They've realized we don't like it that way. What we want is a complete totalitarian system where we control everything at the expense of you. To me, that's not a good idea. And it doesn't look good in the astrology either. It looks basically what I would call EVIL. I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm just saying that EVIL would be the absence of love, the absence of accountability. So I just wanted to share all that. God, I'm sorry, I just got kind of a rant there. I hope it made sense. I hope somebody got something out of that. Let me go back. I got one more thing to say about the new moon here. Hold on. So, sorry, this is a really, really important thing I wanted to mention. This is the American birth chart, very crude, but look at this. Does anyone notice that? We got Sagittarius on the horizon there, Gemini on the descendant. 7th house of open enemies. Uranus and Mars are very active in the 7th house. So relationships around the world tend to be very dynamic, exciting, very spirited, sometimes volatile, sometimes highly disruptive to other worlds and other societies where we engage. There are certain groups and societies that hate the United States, okay? Because we represent too much of what you could call sovereign, the energy of the sovereign self, the respect of the individual, as opposed to the imprisonment of the collective. So over here, the United States is born with Sagittarius rising, okay? Right here, what's that, about 10 degrees. So you could say that this represents like the often frequent over-the-top optimism of the United States and Americans in general across the world, because that's the Sagittarius energy is related to Jupiter, of course, as you know. So having that Jupiter energy, remember Jupiter is the great benefic. Jupiter is the big divine, like soothing healer energy. Wherever Jupiter lies, there tends to be like a sense of relief, a sense of benefit, a sense of like things are going to be okay, a sense of hope, a sense of optimism. And that's what America has shared with the rest of the world, this Sagittarius rising. So in general, the United States has the appearance of being this Sagittarian type of energy about constantly seeking new heights, new horizons, expanding and growing in ways that are better for itself and for everyone else. But guess what? We just had a new moon eclipse. We just had a Sagittarius new moon eclipse right here. So the way I look at that is that this eclipse here, okay, the new moon eclipse here, is so close to the Pluto return of the United States that I feel that this new moon eclipse is very much about, you know, how new moons in general, new starts and new beginnings, but we're talking about on an extreme level. So the United States is basically preparing to give birth to itself again, but on a whole new scale. The United States is not going away. There are certain groups of people who are doing everything they can to destroy the United States right now, because that's the number one obstacle to their power and control at the totalitarian level. But I'm sorry, the United States is still here and it's still going. But it's going through massive birth pains with the Pluto energy. Remember, the Pluto energy here, birth, procreation, death. Birth, life, ascendance, maximum, and then death. So, what I see is happening is that the full birth and glory of the United States has been displayed across the world for the last 250 years about how awesome it has been and could be and should be. But we're also seeing how extremely vulgar and grotesque things have become in the United States, because the United States is the #1 perpetrator of financial fraud across planet Earth for the benefit of the perpetrators. I don't want to go into that. It's too dangerous for this channel. So we're talking about new starts, new beginnings. With eclipses, you end up here, you are pumped up to here, and then you come out here the other side. It's forced evolution. And that's what's happening right now. And there's no going back. So what's happening is we're going through what I feel over the next 6 months, the next year, is like a series of gateways. You know? Like right now, it's starting right now with the Sagittarius new moon solar eclipse. Then we're going to go into the Pluto return, February and March 2022. Then we're going to go to the actual birth date, 4th of July 1776. And then after that, we're going to go into the August season, which is going to light up the north node of the United States. And then we're going to start to get some clarity about where the hell are we going. And what is America really doing? Are we just behaving subconsciously, just without any compassion, love, or anything? Or are we going to factor humanity? There's two extremes happening, of course, as you know. There's people who are just completely flooded with love and compassion and humanity. And then there's the people who are completely devoid of all of that. And then there's everyone else in between. We all fit in that spectrum somewhere. Anyway, that's my notes for tonight with the eclipse. Let's actually get on with your readings. You paid really good money. Thank you for listening to me. I had to have that rant. I'm going to have another little beverage. I'm only going to do these 3 readings. I can't imagine myself doing any more. My throat's already sore. I'm extremely tired. I think I'm doing really well considering I'm really tired. And I'm so happy that you're here and putting up with me in my condition. Thank you so much. Now, there's a lot of, really technically highly advanced astrologers out there. They're probably talking about this stuff. They can talk about it in their own way. I have a perspective from the minute, microscopic, all the way up to the transcendental. I see it from both ends, okay? And then there's everything else in between. All right, let me go over here. Sorry. Thanks, everyone, for listening. So this just happened, okay? So like with all new moons, it's a 28-day cycle to the next new moon. And we have to deal with everything in between. But the way I see it personally is that this Sagittarius new moon eclipse is all about the rebirth of the United States. I don't know if anyone else is going to talk about it on YouTube in that way, but that's how I look at it. It's like the very earliest glimpse about the rebirth of the United States. And it's going to be a long process going through the birth canal. But it's happening, and you can't stop it. And the United States as we know it, and the world financial system as we know it, is basically dying. Whatever is dead will die and decay and fade away, and whatever is good and new and wholesome will come into being. It's not going to be easy, because what is essentially good and wholesome for the individual is the enemy to the tyrannists at the very, very top. So that's going to be a very powerful theme in our lives for the next 15, 20 years. Just saying. Go Sagittarius! Go Sagittarius! Show us the way. Show us your wisdom. Share your wisdom. Give us hope. Make it an adventure. All right. All right, Delisha, I have no idea what's on your mind. If you want, we'll do a blind reading. But if you've got a particular subject, we can deal with that. As you know, you could do it this way. Okay. Dear Tarot Illumination, what kind of messages are coming for me tonight regarding the subject of ... It could be like love, finance, health, career, children, relatives, parents, whatever it is. One little word. Otherwise, if you want, I'll just do a completely blind reading. It's up to you. That message, by the way, that's the same for you, Jeffrey. Same for you, Gregory. I know, Gregory, sometimes you have very specific issues. Sometimes you just say, go for it. Just freaking go for it. Yeah. Anyway, so right now tonight we're going to be working over here with Delisha. Let me get some cards. There we go. Blind. Delisha wants a blind reading. Yay! You're very courageous. I love doing blind readings. I'm so glad that I actually got the show to keep going. There were so many. I'm sorry to everybody who was here at the very beginning where everything was very clumsy and struggling, and there was just a mess of technology that was not operating at its best. Let's remember, bless this deck, okay? Bless the artists who make the paintings and the pictures. Bless the printing presses, the factories, the materials. Bless every single card and all the mythologies and the stories and the energy that's embedded in these decks and cards on a universal scale. Let's bless the channel to yell. Let's bless cameras and lighting, technology, the software, the computer codes, the designers, the writers of all these things, the electricity, everything that allows us to do this. It's a freaking miracle. TL, Delisha wants love. Oh. Okay, here we go. No worries. Now, love is a very big word. It can cover personal love, like affection, the deep affection from one person to another and from another to another. It can be encompassing, like the love of a parent to a child, the love and compassion towards a complete stranger. Whether they deserve it or not becomes irrelevant. You're getting into the very deep Neptunian energies of love at that point. Romantic love, okay? There's romantic love. Okay, blind. We're going to go blind. We're just going to go blind, okay? Don't worry. Don't worry about it. The word love was mentioned, but we're going to go blind anyway. And who knows? The subject of love may come up. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Just going to make a little more room over here. Thanks, Jeffrey. Thank you, Gregory. Thanks, folks, for being here. I know some of you hang out and you're not even getting a reading. It just makes me feel like really cozy and comfortable that people are willing to be here and just sort of enjoy the experience. Does anybody remember the day when Tarot Illumination would get like thousands of views across the world? Thousands and thousands. Anyway, that's all history now. Let's have a look. Tarot Lumination, the channel, the brand, the concept, the vibe still exists. And, you know, me, the human being behind it, I'm going to go through my own version of the Sagittarius new moon eclipse, just like everyone else is going to go through their version. And then there's the global story that I just shared with everyone. Okay? All right. Thank you, Delisha. I really love doing these readings for people. I wish I could do more if I had the time and the energy. Here we go. I'm making a really extreme cut because I want to create a very kind of crystal clear situation here. All right. Here is the situation. Now, you know I use this spread. I only have about 4 spreads. I have my situational spread here. I have my crucible spread, compact and full. And I have my heart spread, okay? And I have extensions of those spreads. I only use the situational spread in live readings. This is the only one I use in live readings, but when I do personal readings and private stuff, we can go into a lot more heavy-duty stuff than we can do here. Also, I try to do these live ones in a way that I don't, cause offense or hurt people's feelings in case the subject or the storyline is very challenging or painful. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. With this situational spread, it's literally like just a snapshot of life and situation, and it functions like a diagnostic tool, just like when you go into an auto tune-up shop and you say, hey, I got some weird stuff going on with my car. I don't know what it is. And then the auto technician says, don't worry, ma'am. We'll just plug it into the diagnostics. That's all we're doing here, okay? So I'm going to look at environmental influences, and of course, as you know, I usually default to the sacred geometry of the planets. So let's have a look. So you've got the 7 of Wands here. So, in a way, this doesn't surprise me, Delisha. With the Wands, it's a very powerful, strong, dynamic, fiery energy. And the way this relates to you right now, okay, I'm going to bring out the charts immediately. It's like, don't worry about, you don't have to tell me what your sun sign is or your moon or rising or anything. You don't have to say anything about that for now. But with the 7 of Wands here, I am relating this directly to the Sagittarius new moon eclipse that just happened and how it's going to unfold in the next couple of weeks and what led up to that, okay? So the moon's already in Capricorn, so things move very quickly with the moon. But for now, the indication here with the 7 of Wands is that to me, it looks like you've been dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of activity, a lot of energy, like flowing through you, your body, your life, your world, to the point where it's overload. It's, you know how some people live life, let's say you're a mom or you're a caregiver or you're a business person or whatever, and things just got accelerated and accelerated, like there's so much to do. There's still so much to be done. Like, it doesn't matter if you had 35 hours a day in a 10-day week. It still wouldn't be enough to get done what has to be done. And you get to the point where you start to realize it's like reaching a breaking point. And you start to think, oh my God, how did I get into this position? Well, you're not dead yet. The show's not over. But the 7 of Wands is an indication that, like it or not, you have attracted a lot of challenging energies. Now, these aren't necessarily depressing or miserable or life-threatening or painful. It's just a lot of stuff on your plate. And not only are you expected to handle it, you have to handle it. On the other hand, to keep going means you have to keep handling as it still piles on. So my feeling is that you may be dealing with like a residual energy for perhaps weeks, months, or years that have piled up to this one moment in life where this new moon Sagittarius eclipse is almost like an indication, like your whole life you're living too fast, trying to do too much too quickly for whatever reason, because you want to live your life, okay? And for a lot of people that means like maybe I got 2 jobs, or maybe I'm I've got to do this and I got to do that, take care of a family member, I got to take care of a child, or someone's dependent on me and I'm dependent on a lot of different energies going on simultaneously that have become normal for you. But what this is telling me to tell you is that you got to be really careful, Delisha. You're at the point where if you look at your life like you're driving a car, you're at the point where it's not there yet, but you're going to see the red check engine light come on any minute now if you're not careful. Okay? So this to me feels like a warning. It's a warning that you're doing okay, but you're getting kind of maxed out. If you're not careful, you're going to start to get some red lights flashing in your life like, Delisha, you need to slow down, or you need to offload some of these challenges. You cannot carry the world. Okay? Let's have a look. Now, what's the challenge here? Okay, so with the Queen of Pentacles, to me it feels like you're at a certain point in life where you've got a certain degree of stability. No matter how modest it is, to me it feels like there's something in your life which at least gives you a little tiny sense of having an anchor. And that's a very, very good thing to have. And then with the Queen of Pentacles here, there's another layer. It's just like, wow, I've got to this point where I reached a point in life where I really actually do have a little bit of worldly, let's say, value, stability, anchoring of some kind. Even if it means, no, I don't want to go into your personal finances here, okay? I'm just not going to do that, okay? With the Queen of Pentacles, it's just like, okay, again, I'm relating back to the new moon eclipse. What am I going to do now? With the Queen of Pentacles here, it makes me feel like you've reached a very high degree of sovereignty in yourself, to the point where you can just hang out with us here at this channel and it's perfectly normal for you. It feels normal for you to be at these frequencies where you're already fully aware of your sovereign self, your value, your values, your self-worth, your talents, your gifts, your resources, and how that works for you in your life and how that affects others. Remember, the Queen of Pentacles is very kind and very generous where it's deserved. And also the Queen of Pentacles is very, very, let's say, conscientious about how resources are expended, like money in, money out. And so you might be going through a phase right now where you may be pressured to take a very close look at your life about where's all the money coming in from and where's all the money going out. And how can you refine this? If you're already pretty well refined and organized with finances, great, but there's always ways to improve. Because believe me, next year it's going to become a lot more obvious on a global scale about personal and global finances. Okay? So this looks like a very calm, stable energy here right now in terms of like your situation. Like it's a full understanding, like, okay, I know I've reached this certain point in life. I know I have this degree of stature. But life still goes on. The question is, what am I going to do from here? What now? What now? What am I going to do with my talents, energies, resources, and gifts from here to maximize and optimize for the rest of my life going forward? Okay? What's the challenge here? Okay, I would say lack of direction. So with the Page of Wands here, in its own natural essence, it's very optimistic and very, let's say, enthusiastic and very determined. Of course, there's a lot of innocence here too, because there's no clear set path or definition. All we have here is the determination to follow the right path and stay on path and get on path. Okay? So, like with the Page of Wands here, there might be this part of you, very, very deep inside of you, which is very, very innocent, where if you look at look at yourself in a mirror and you realize, okay, yeah, I've done this, been here, done that. I've got this, I got this, I got that. I understand what TL's talking about up here. But deep down, deep down, my feeling is that there's a part of you where the compass is really not set. And it's terrifying, the idea, like, I don't mean to scare you like in like, oh my God, the world's over. It's like there's this very like very deep unsettling fear, like, oh my God, how can I go forward? What am I going to do with myself going forward if I don't even have a compass to find out which direction? So when I see the Page of Wands here in this reading, in this position, to me it makes me feel as though the compass of your life is just floating around without direction at the moment. And that's very unsettling, because to me it feels like you're a person who would actually like to have a very clear, defined sense of direction and purpose and meaning going forward in life. And so to even have the slightest glimpse or sense that, wow, I could be out of alignment, that you, even though it might be just slightly out of alignment, you might feel that as like, oh my God, that's seriously bad news. If I'm not really aligned with my destiny, my future, like, you know that, what's it, that geometry? How can I do this? What I'm trying to sense here, I'm trying to describe the fear, okay? I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think it's too important to illustrate. Talking about the energy of a compass, okay? Delisha. So let's say this is you at this point in life, okay? D.W. Delisha Williams. Okay, and there's your whole new life world unfolding in front of you. There's the Sagittarius new moon eclipse. There's the Seven of Wands. There's your resources and talents and big question marks. And then there's here, the Page of Wands. Like, oh my God. And this would be the ideal setting, okay? In other words, the ideal setting for the Page of Wands would be this. My life is going to go forward in this direction. I've learned it from being over this way that doesn't work. I've learned it from this way it doesn't work. And this is what works. But what this reading is telling me to tell you is that you need to be aware that deep down inside you, you might be aware that your compass is not really aligned yet. So, let's take this back over here. If you're over here right now and you're looking way forward for the rest of your life, and the compass, this is like perfectly aligned, let's say it could be, and let's say it's not quite right. Like, what happens if it's over here? Or what happens over here? It doesn't look like too much of a problem, okay? But the reality is, if this is just like a few degrees out of whack, over here to here, then look where that takes you. That takes you way off track, way off alignment. Or if it's over here, just a couple of degrees, that takes you way off of alignment over here. Okay, so this would be the ideal. And here's like another option. Here's another option. From this perspective right now, the little Page of Wands looks quite innocent, like, oh, it's a problem here and here. But deep down in your soul, you know that if you're not really well aligned, you could end up spending a huge chunk of your life going in the wrong direction and really losing out, or going on the wrong direction and really losing out. So that's a very significant and a very legitimate fear. It's good that it came up in this reading. I'm so glad. Because a lot of people aren't aware of that. Decisions that you make right now have an impact on the future for days, weeks, months, and years ahead. How are we going to deal with this? Okay, to me it feels like the way to deal with it is kind of like what I'm doing right now. Just basically check out. Basically say, okay, I'm going to give myself a few days of allowing myself to rest and sleep, and allowing divine information, divine wisdom, divine knowledge to come to me. I'm not going to go out and hunt for it. I don't have to. I'm already desirous. I already understand everything that TL talked about here. The way to, let's say, get yourself as closely aligned to being on path as possible, so that you make the best use of your energy and time, and you do not spend huge amounts of time and energy on worthless, futile activities, and you do not deplete yourself on worthless, futile activities or tasks, is that you deliberately stop. You basically say, okay, I'm going to get off the hamster wheel for a while. I'm going to switch off all the media and TV and phones and meetings and commitments, and I am just going to chill. I'm going to relax. I'm going to rest. And I'm going to say a little prayer, and it says, Dear heavenly angels, dear invisible friends, dear guardians, dear loved ones from the great beyond, I know you're there. I know you love me very much. I know you want what's best for me. I know I get so wrapped up in my own activities and goals and ambitions and stuff, but I know that I really need to tune into you guys now, because I can't do it on my own. Please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Please help to guide me and protect me going forward. I do this in total surrender. I just ask for it, because the way to do it, can you do it through my dreams or when I'm resting? For example, okay, Delisha, you could go for a walk in a park. You could go for a little drive somewhere. Get away from people, activities, and commitments. Just have a little beverage. Sit and stare at the plants. Go and pet some animals at a petting zoo. To me it feels like disconnect from everything, and just give yourself a chance to recalibrate, tune back into nature, get back in touch with your natural, sovereign, earthbound self, okay? And allow the recalibration to begin, so that you can start to get a hold of your compass and get it aligned to the life that you know is right for you. But you need to do this by invitation. It works by invitation. You have to ask for divine guidance. You have to ask and trust and believe that your invisible friends are there for you and that they will guide you. Please send me messages, okay? You know, like Love Triber, she does this thing like, Dear Heaven, please send me a monkey to let me know I'm on path. And so, like clockwork, little monkeys show up, like in YouTube feeds or telephone feeds or, social media feeds or conversation. And it means she's on path. So it's like being calibrated. So that's what I'm saying here, okay? It means reach out and ask for that divine guidance, especially like through your dreams. Let it come to you through dreams and through surrendering to, like, be in a sublime place. Go to a coffee shop where nobody knows you, you don't know anybody, and you just sit there. Sip the coffee and stare around the world and just soak it in. Just let the energy come to you, okay? Thank you, Delisha. Jeffrey, you're up next. I hope that helped you, Delisha. Really, this reading looks to me about, it's a really good time to focus and recalibrate your life going forward, how you're going to allocate your time and resources and gifts and talents in a way that's the best possible thing for you. Because what's best for you is best for the rest of the world. Thank you, Necessary. It's so true. You're going to be fine, okay, Delicia? You're going to be just fine. It's a question of tuning in. It's a question of chilling out, detaching, deliberately unplugging yourself from a huge battery of challenges in your life that you've attracted to you, probably unconsciously, that a lot of it's really not necessary. So you can just go, you know what, I don't need that anymore. Unplug, 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 unplug. This person, this place, this attitude, this activity, this relationship, whatever. Just get rid of it. And then recalibrate, okay? All right, let's see, Jeffrey, what's going on, man? I know you've been through a lot of changes recently. You've made it your business to really tune into your best self. You've it's pretty rare, honestly, Jeffrey, for someone to make it to take such a degree of responsibility over their life and the outcomes of their life and how that affects others and how it affects you, knowing from a business perspective, a lot of it is to do with decision making and making decisions in the moment. All right, Jeffrey, here we go. If I don't see anything, I'm just going to do a blind reading, okay? I did a completely blind reading for Delicia, and it sounds like she got something out of it. Jeffrey's going to say, okay, I'm looking at the notes on the chat. Jeffrey's going to go blind. Right now is sort of a period, just been trying to get ready for March. I lost a best friend. He pulled a gun on me. That's not cool. Not cool. It's okay to protect and defend yourself, from strangers and how invasions and whatnot. But when, that's not cool. Stuff happens though. Some people get scared, and that's what they do. It's their way to express power. But deep down, that person was probably very, very scared. Something in their life is out of whack, and it's almost like when somebody points a gun at you like that, it's almost like they're trying to blame everything in their life that's wrong with them on somebody or something else. I hope that person finds a way to come to terms with themselves, or can, go to a target practice somewhere, or go to a shooting range and just blast it out of them, just to get it out of their system, All right, let's have a look. Let's see. All right, what kind of messages do we have here tonight for Jeffrey? Jeffrey's going through a lot. He's still going through a lot. Let's have a look here. Okay, I did a really weird extreme cut because I'm trying to make sure each reading is very uniquely its own reading. Okay. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Simple diagnostics, observation, checking in. Here we go. Okay, Page of Wands. Okay, so okay, we could talk about the energy of a compass again if you wanted to. My feeling is that with the Page of Wands here for you, Jeffrey, to me it feels quite different from the energy that we talked about in Delicia's reading. To me it feels like this is a very strong indication that you need to understand it. the compass of life is very, very real. Sometimes the compass of life can be influenced by others, where it feels as though you're living your life, but in fact someone is directing you or manipulating you. But to me this feels like this is very much about you. Like, you need to know, Jeffrey, that you are a person who is like creating your destiny day by day as you go. One day at a time. Like it's like recalibrating every day. It's like, people who go on these, what do they call, orienteering, or these like solo blind hiking adventures, where you don't just sort of sit there and go, oh, I'm just going to go from here to here. I can figure it out. What happens is it looks like, to me, this does not look like a warning in any way. It feels to me like it's a very strong indication that you are very much on path, that you are at the early days of a long journey, and that as you go forward every day, it's really important that you kind of check in with your invisible friends, your loved ones from the great beyond, and kind of do what we were talking about there with Alicia earlier, where you invite guidance to come to you, where you don't just simply rely on three-dimensional reality. You don't simply rely on the Jeffrey that you know up to this point in life and the Jeffrey that you hope to know going forward. You lean on the Jeffrey who is bigger and above and beyond all that in terms of your like spiritual aura, and you can, again, like earlier in the other reading, invite your invisible friends to come in on a day-to-day basis and help you to stay tuned in, help you to keep your compass aligned, because to me it feels like you're already aligned. But the challenge going forward here with this external energy is to understand that you are on path. But from here onward, it's important to stay on path. And the way you do that is understand that your path can easily be deflected or hijacked by external people or external influences. And the only way to get around that is to constantly, on a daily basis, recalibrate your path on a daily basis. And just stay tuned in. It's like navigating a ship. You don't start over here in New York and go over there to Southampton in London or England and say, okay, I'm just going to set the compass from here to there. And I'm just going to put the whole journey on autopilot. And then the ship goes over here. Whoa. What actually happens is the captain navigating the ship stays very, very closely tuned in to the compass and the navigation systems so that they stay on path. And so it looks like a very pure, simple, natural phenomenon to go from A to B on path. Like, wow, how do they do that? Wow. Well, they do it by staying on path and making sure that they stay on path on a daily basis. Hour by hour. Let's say a certain circumstance comes up in front of your life, like a person, a situation, a challenge. How is that going to take you off path? How far off path? Is it something that brings you closer to your path, or is it something that takes you farther off your path? Right. Cheers. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Let me just look at these notes on the screen. Blah, 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 Jeffrey. It was rough. I've never seen someone look at me with such evilness. Luckily, my other friend was there to stop him. Who got the cut neck? I feel like my throat is bleeding right now. Necessary, Jeffrey. He has a neck tattoo, one that he recently got. Okay, Jeffrey. He hit me really hard in the mouth. Okay, nasty. Necessary. Blood in the neck throat area. Felt painful to me. Yes, felt like a knife razor there, not you. The best friend when I tapped into his energy. Okay. All right. So Jeffrey and Necessary Truth are having a conversation on the side. Let's keep going. What's the situation itself? Okay. Well, this is the Ace of Swords. This is a card of sacred opportunity. And Jeffrey, of course, being a business person, is not going to let that go to waste. The thing is, to me, this looks like it's a really powerful energy. To me, it looks like it's an energy, an indication like you don't have an option except to stand up and like be the embodiment of truth, justice, honesty, facts, universal law, truth. Okay? Think of Sagittarius. New starts, new beginnings. And if you are being challenged externally, Jeffrey, and whatever it is, like that person, the angry person with the tattoo, or with the business markets, or whatever challenges you're experiencing in business, you still end up having to relate to people or certain individuals or contracts or obligations. But what I'm feeling here with the Ace of Swords is that it's a little bit scary being in a position where you have to represent this energy. You have to represent universal truth, universal law, universal justice, honesty, integrity, to the level of absolute, no matter what. Because it could be so much easier to compromise this energy and, let's say, dial it down for yourself so that you don't have to be such a... I mean, it's actually, in some ways, it's kind of a heavy load having to maintain this extreme high degree of integrity. But I think that's what this eclipse is about. And because you're a natural born entrepreneur, in case anyone's here who's not been here before, most of us know that Jeffrey is a young business person, entrepreneur, who has set very high standards for himself and is already on the path to achievement. But as you go further and further on this path, you realize, like, my God, sometimes it gets really, really challenging, because in order to do things honestly and ethically in this world, it means you have to be honest and ethical, and you have to do things in a way where actions speak louder than words. In other words, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to sort this out. It actually has to be, let's say, it has to be made vividly clear, perhaps with words, conversations, contracts, business agreements, that contracts are contracts, conversations are conversations. There's a big difference between opinions and truth. Someone, like for that person who attacked you, maybe they had certain opinions and belief systems that were out of alignment with yours. And then you end up in a position, excuse me, where you have to represent what in some ways is frustrating, is a higher form of truth, logic, information, universal truth that supersedes and overrides the offending party. For someone to come at you and physically attack you and put a gun at you, my feeling is that their ego feels extremely threatened by your natural state of being, to the point where the only way they can handle it is to basically threaten or actually try to take you down, because they can't handle the truth. They can't handle or operate in the field of integrity, honor, truth, contracts, honoring people's words, and so on. So that's a problem. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's great in some ways, like, okay, Sagittarius new moon eclipse, this is a great opportunity to stand up and represent that. But it sounds like you're having to represent and carry that energy in a situation where there's extreme challenges or extreme defiance, where you're literally going to have to display somehow. I'm not going to tell you how to do your business, but this is also like a serious energy, like you're either with me or you're not. If you can't handle this, you need to go. I don't want trouble. I'm not looking for war. I need to do things properly. There's a way that things work properly in business and life in this world, and that's just how it is. That's who I am. That's how I operate. Anything less than that is unacceptable. If you can't handle it, leave now. Leave now. If you can't handle it, let's go forward and we'll figure it out as we go along. Forgive and forget. Okay? So that could be a very, very crushing energy for that enemy. What's the challenge here? Okay, to me it looks like the real challenge you've got right now is actually making things work in a way that are harmonious, because what you've told earlier about this other person is that the other person, the way I feel it here, Jeffrey, is that this other person who came at you has deep down a lot of respect for you in some ways, but what they can't handle is that you're operating from a higher level of integrity when it comes to business, contracts, communications, behaviors, systems and ways of doing business, ways of conducting business that work, let's say, in ways that are legally responsible and correct, so that you can have a successful, thriving business. There are some people who do not like to operate that way. All they want to do is operate on ego and power, and any threat to their ego and power, they throw a punch or they pull a gun. So you're talking about extremely low vibration energy, and yet that energy is in your world. So you have to deal with it. And so it's kind of a very extreme counterbalance where your compass is set. You're good to go. Your situation right now is staying on path and choosing the path of integrity, honesty, and truth. But that is a real problem for some other people. And so you end up with the Three of Cups here in this very challenging position. Like, how on earth am I going to be bringing harmony into my life, my world, my business, my relationships, love, relationships, business partnerships? How on earth is that ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen where I've got some kind of coalition, some kind of agreement between myself and potential business partners or customers or suppliers or whatever it is in your business? Is there ever going to be a chance where there is some degree of harmony? It's like getting a company to the point where you can have a holiday Christmas party and it's all on you. Like, hey everybody, we've come this far together. Whoa, yeah. So I'm going to take everybody out for dinner tonight. Blah, blah, blah. Like a company bonus thing or an incentive thing. And then, there's the possibility like, well, what if I do that? What if I say, hey, come on, everybody, let's just, let's look at the positive. Forget about our, conflicts. We're all going to go out. It's all on me. There's 3 or 5 of us or whatever it is. We're going to have drinks, dinner, whatever. And we are going to have fun. Okay? Now, to me it feels like the chances of that happening would feel very low right now for you. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Because it feels to me like what would be really very satisfying for you, Jeffrey, is that you do have harmony in your relationships. You do have harmony in your business. You do have harmony in your new environment, in your closest ones, the people who are really, really close to you. What you would love is to have harmony as opposed to the violence and the conflict. How are we going to deal with this going forward? Oh boy, to me it looks like you're going to have to be the man. With the Ten of Pentacles, to me it feels like it's almost like a show of wealth, a show of power, a show of integrity, a show of values, in such a way that the people around you in your new life and your new world that you're setting up now, you remember? New starts, new beginnings. So that the people who are there start to feel like they really are like family to you, and that you really care for them. And it isn't just about how am I, Jeffrey, going to make a buck? How am I going to become Lord and Master of my dominion and world? It's really about, I'm doing this because I love people. I want to be successful. I know I can be successful. I know this can be a really good thing in a way that others can benefit. So this is not the King of Pentacles, but it's kind of on the way to going there. It's on the understanding that, like, the way forward is to look at your world as a collection of valuables. Those would be things like your experience, your knowledge, your connections, your integrity, your values, your wisdom, like I said, integrity, but also your understanding of wealth and business and money, about how it actually works in a way that actually works. I hope that makes sense. And so it has to be done by actions. Like, actions speak louder than words. So if there's a way to make peace and harmony in this situation, to me it feels like it's almost like standing up and making a speech at an event with the people closest to you, where you literally, perhaps very reluctantly, take on a leadership role where you basically make a statement. You make it very, very clear to your loved ones and the people very, very close to you in your world, your community, your enterprise, your future, your life going forward, where this is how it is. This is how it's going to work. This is how it has to be. Like, I understand, like, if people are pissed off with me, like, but you don't do that by hitting me or trying to shoot me. Come at me with words. Explain why. I want to listen. I want to know. Because I can't do this thing on my own. This is a team effort. This is business. I need you guys. You need me. And so it's like, Jeffrey, I don't know how to say this. This is like the little... This is what it feels like to me. It just feels like in the fairly near future, it's kind of like a consolidation of events and circumstances where it isn't just you against the rest of the world. It's you and your environment, which includes certain people, the wider environment, but a very, very close environment. And I think... we've worked together before in the past. You were telling me like how some of your previous business relationships could be very, very, let's say, precarious. And so we're seeing evidence of that now here tonight in this reading. On the other hand, you are growing and maturing. You're entering a whole new world of business, the way I see it, the way I understand it. And very reluctantly, instead of you being one of like the fuzzy-wuzzy friendship thing, you end up having to be in a leadership role where you have to speak, basically, like having to basically say, like, there are ways that business works and there are ways that business doesn't work. The way it works here is that I need you guys, you need me. you know, we can make this work together. But it sounds really old-fashioned, okay, Jeffrey? But it's like going to a dinner or a private dinner somewhere, or to a little restaurant or something where you pay for everything. I'm not telling you to do this. This is just what feels to me. And there's just a few other people there, and they are vital to you and your business going forward, and you are vital to them and their lives going forward. But before the meeting, things are like still unraveled. But at this event, you do one of those things. Hello, everybody. I'd like to take a moment. I am Jeffrey, and this is how things are, blah, blah, blah. And I'd like to let you know that I'm very appreciative, blah, blah, blah. But also, I can't do this without you. And also, you can't do what you do without me. So I want to get a few things straight. I'm not doing things to hurt you or crush your ego or anything. I do this as a business. Like, I'm not trying to hurt or offend anybody. So if you have a problem with me, come to me. Talk about it. Let's sort it out. Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy your dessert. Bye. Let's put another round in. Thank you very much. So Jeffrey, I'm not saying go out and host everybody to dinner. All I'm suggesting is, like, imagine that as a kind of scenario where reluctantly you have to put yourself in the boss leader position, where it becomes very evident. You know, the money. People have to do something to earn money, to bring money into their lives so that they can survive today and tomorrow and next week and the month and whatever. So if you're building a business and a life going forward, and it looks like it might be impacting other people for the long term, and you can't afford to take anything for granted anymore. They can't afford to take anything for granted anymore. Certain things have to be spelled out very clearly and very succinctly. And if necessary, get it on paper. Get contracts. You know, we're going to do things properly. But for now, to me it looks like making an open display of wealth and abundance so that everybody feels like they're on board. Like, wow, Jeffrey really is the man. He's really true. He actually really has good intentions here, and this really could work for us. Business, money, okay? I hope that makes sense, Jeffrey. Gregory, you're up next. I don't know what you guys are talking about, Paulie. Okay. Oh, look, there's someone here with Russian. Is that Russian writing? Varktek. I don't know what that means. Hello, Varktek. Hello. I can't read that. All right, Gregory, you're up. I hope you're still here. I hope I didn't send everybody to sleep. I know we're doing personal readings. The reading is very, very personal. I'm only doing 3 readings tonight, as you can tell. But some people feel that the readings have like a residual or, side effect on them as well. Karen. Oh, Karen from New Zealand. Good evening and good morning. It's already Monday morning or Monday noon for you. Monday afternoon. All right. Thanks everybody for being here. I don't know who Paulie is. But anyway. All right, let's have a look. Gregory, you're up next. I know, Gregory, you've been going through a lot recently. I hope your recent adventures have been fruitful and fun, lively. Gregory's going to go for a blind reading too. Wow. This is really exciting. 3 blind readings in a row. I feel very lucky. Gregory, you got a point there. But all your readings apply to others. Yeah, so that's why I guess some people still watch the show, even though it's not actually directly about them. You know, a lot of the other tarot channels, astrology channels, I've completely lost any touch with any of them, because I don't know what they're about or what they're doing or how or why. I'm just doing what we do here. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle up, clearing the decks. Thank you all for your support over the years, by the way. Beautiful. Okay, we got a nice sweet. You know what? You know what, Gregory? I'm going to do something. I'm going to treat myself. It's late in the evening. It's very late for a lot of you. It's pretty early for Karen. This is a very special beverage, as some of you know. Yep. This is a Scottish blend. And through triple woods, which are they? I think it's maple, oak, and whichever, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to treat myself to my part of my medical health program. Oh, that's good. Oh. Whew. Okay, wait. We did a pretty good shuffle. I'm going to keep going a little bit. I just need a little tiny bit more time and space there. Hello, everyone. Thank you for still being here, whoever you are, wherever you are. I just want to crunch down a moment. Hello, Starzy. Starzy just showed up. And there was someone. Where's that one? Somebody just showed up with the. I can't read. I don't know that alphabet. I don't know how to say it. I think maybe they. No, there it is. Look. Yeah, look there. Vark-Tek. Hello, Vark-Tek. I don't know what Vark-Tek means. But hold on, give me a second. I'm good. Let me go to the stage for a second. Got to close out the music here. Hi, Starzy. So Vark-Tek, it looked. Again, I'm not a multilingual, really. I tried to learn Spanish or French and German. None of it worked for me, sadly. So my only language is English. My only alphabet is English. But Vark-Tek, whoever you are, I don't know if you're still here, but I would love to know who you are and where you are. This is planet Earth. I know because we've worked together before. I know Jeffrey is over here. I know Gregory's over here. I know that Necessary Truth is over here. Karen Clark, I know Karen is over here in New Zealand. Starzy, I can't keep remembering. Toronto, Florida, I'm not sure. And anyway, I'm just curious about people's locations. I love to know where they are, especially with a language. Ivona. Polina Yogovenko. Oh! Holy, wait a minute. Ivona. Okay, everybody, as you know, Ivona is up here in the kind of the New Jersey area. So, Ivona, are you saying that the alphabet that I was looking at there, Vartek, says the person is actually Polina Yagovenko? Wow. Ah, Starzy's back in Florida. Starzy's in Florida. Ivona is up here. Necessary Truth is up here. Gregory is over here and over here. What else we got going on? Anyway, I'm very keen. Polina Yagovenko, where are you? Thank you for being here, Polina Yagovenko. Cheers, welcome. Let's keep shuffling. All right, here we go. Wow. Some of those other languages, they're amazing. I get documents from the government, you know. I'm at that point in life where I get all sorts of documents from the government, like for the, you know, Social Security or taxes or whatever. And they always have these mandatory documents inside the document to declare about languages and stuff. Like, hello, dear reader, if you are Taiwanese and you need a Taiwanese translator for these documents, please contact us. And so they have all these alphabets and languages spelled out in these documents. And if you look at them, they're beautiful. Like the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arabic, the Philippine, the Polynesian. It goes on and on and on. The Russian alphabet. They're just visually beautiful things to look at. They mean nothing to me. It doesn't mean anything, but to me they're visually beautiful. I see it as a form of art. There you go. All right, here we go, Gregory. Let's have a look. I'm going to keep shuffling again. All right, here we go. I'm going to go totally blind. Whew. Oh my gosh. All right. Oh. This is our teal. It's slang in Russian for spare me. That's a thing. Jesus. But not in a positive way to praise him. Basically, it's a troll. Delete them. Okay. Well, they disappeared already, so I'm not going to worry about it. You know, my whole channel was destroyed by trolls anyway, years ago. At the end of 2018, in case some of you are not familiar, I'm just going to do a quick flashback. It was the end of 2018 when my channel was destroyed by trolls, and they attacked this channel relentlessly through 2017 and 2018, and eventually the masters, the YT, the Google masters, the YouTube masters, they decided that I'm guilty until proven innocent. I did everything I possibly could to prove my innocence. I'm not running a cult. I'm not trying to capture women and store them in my basement and use them for nefarious purposes for my own desires. It's not true. But that's what I was accused of. And the platforms believed that. And so it was very, very sudden. Towards the end of 2018, the channel was attacked by two people in a very, very kind of a ruthless, relentless way with very, very, let's say, creepy stories that made me look like I'm some kind of demonic monster agent of the devil. And in America, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. However, the platforms here decided I'm guilty until proven innocent. I can't prove myself innocent unless someone comes over here and looks at me in my life, and then I can prove it. And so, guilty until proven innocent. That's how it works for some of these big corporations. And so ever since that day at the end of 2018, towards the end of 2018, this little channel, Terror Lumination, which was growing very, very nicely, apart from all the relentless attacks, the channel was growing, but then it just got crushed, and the little Terror Lumination channel was put onto like whatever they call it, like one of these minimalist algorithms where you don't exist. It's like going to a big food market, food festival, and you're forced to show up with a hot dog stand at the very end of the last aisle, at the end of the last aisle. And who goes there? The only people who come to this channel are people who've already been here, and they understand that there's something fun here, something interesting, so they keep coming back. Even though there's millions of other tarot and astrology channels now. There was only a few hundred when I started, but now there's tens of thousands. I don't try to compete with all of that, especially because the platforms have already determined that I am this. I'm still here. I'm not dead yet. That's the will to live. I'm still alive. Ha 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 ha. Song time. Okay. Necessary wants a song. I'm going to play. I could do a little song. Well, it'll be a little Terror Illumination song. How about this? If I can find it, I will do Taste Your Dreams by LINA. Let me see if I can find it. If here. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, there's an MP3. Let me see if I can find LINA Taste Your Dreams, because it's really sweet. Let me see if this will work. I don't know. Well, I can see the video, but I don't know how I can get the sound to play just on its own. There should be an MP3. Oh, damn. I wonder if I play that, maybe the sound will come out. Let's have a look. Is it going to come out? Uh-oh, what did I just do? What did I just do? Hold on, give me technical glitches. Technical glitch. Nope. Okay, so I'll play Taste Your Dreams anyway with the Terror Illumination version, okay? Here we go. Try this. Try this. Let's see what happens.
Okay. If you wish for a simple miracle,
Doopy-doopy-doo.
if you wish you can have one right away,
Doopy-doopy-doo.
all you need is some faith, is the will.
Doopy-doopy-doo.
Ask for it and it will come to you today. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah. your dreams, taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Na da 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 da, na da 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 da. La da 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 da, da 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 da. And if you wish to be in a state of grace, ask for it, and it will meet you face to face. And if you wish, if you dare to dream, you will find that it's easier than it seems. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Oh. Da 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 ba da 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 la da 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 la da 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 oh la da 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 oh yeah. I want you to be oh so happy. Yeah, I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, yeah. I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams today.
Well, I did a song. That was Lumination. What I was trying to do, I was trying to put the new version of that song from LINA. Most of you know LINA from Argentina. Anyway, she did a cover version of the song. It's really sweet. You can actually see it on the channel. If you go to the channel and you scroll through some of the recent videos, LINA is right there. It's live. You can actually see her singing and playing the song. It's great. Like doopy doopy doop, doopy doopy doop, doopy doopy doop doop. And it sounds much sweeter when a girl is singing it, you know. It reminds me of that song Somewhere Over the Rainbow by that guy Izzy in Hawaii. She sounds kind of like that. It's really really pure, really beautiful. Hello, Ivona. Hello, Melanie. Are you too late? Yeah, you're too late. I'm sorry. What were you thinking? I don't know. How can I tell you? Okay, so there's a troll. Okay, no worries. I'm used to being attacked. Jeffrey, if you're still here, I've been held at knife point several times. I've been held at gunpoint multiple times. It's not fun. So I understand your concern. Oh, man. We're talking about different chapters in my life, but it's true, so I can relate with you, Jeffrey. I do understand. But again, I'm not dead yet, so... And nor are you. So the story goes on. Alright, let's have a look. Uh-oh. Bubba's here. Bubba's decided to come and visit us. That's Bubba's butt right there. He's sitting down on the stage and he's drinking my water. He must have had a very quiet, peaceful day. As you know, I love this little cat. There's two other cats. I love them too. There's Big Boo Boo. He's really big. and overweight. And then there's Bonnie, and she's very twitchy and very like almost neurotic, but in a very sweet way. And then there's Boo Boo. There's Bubba. This is Bubba. And Bubba is, let's say, he's very observant. He's very curious. He's always got one eye open. He's very affectionate. He kind of likes to hover close to me like he's my bodyguard or something. In fact, I'm more like his bodyguard, but it's okay. We get along. Oh, he's decided to. Okay, he's going somewhere else now. Thank you, Bubba. Thank you for visiting. All right, so we had a little bit of a song time there. Thank you, Necessary. I'm going to shuffle again. I think I already did a shuffle and a cut and a shuffle and a cut and a shuffle and a cut. But I like to feel like really pristine. I like things to feel absolutely pure up to the very last second. Oh. Little Bubba. Starzy has a baby tiger. Are you serious? All right. I mean, little kittens and little cats are cute, but I mean, I'm sure baby tigers are cute, but really, like a baby tiger? A tiger would fill up most of this room. He likes Bubba. Tigers also, you know, a lot of cats are genetically wired these days to be, hey, Frittily! Hi, Frittily. A lot of cats are wired to be domestic. Even though they might be born in the wild, cats have been so domesticated for so long. I believe that the domestication gene is firmly in their DNA. However, with tigers, it's a little bit different. I don't think tigers have really been heavily domesticated. So, like, you might have a really nice cuddle with a baby tiger and they could grow up and you could be friends. But if something went out of whack and they decided, like, this isn't working anymore, they have very big claws and very big paws and they could just rip you to shreds. Literally, just rip you to shreds. Starzy, do you really have a baby tiger? Some cats are like little tigers, you know. Some of the what do they call them? It's the anyway, never mind. Sorry about that. All right, let's have a look, Gregory. See what's going on. Tabbies. Some tabby cats are sort of like tigers. Miniature, little miniature tigers. Alright, Gregory, let's have a look, see what's going on. I don't know whether you're in Mississippi or New Mexico. In a way, it kind of doesn't matter. We're operating on a completely different frequency here. Okay, cut it again. This is the last shuffle, the last cut. We're going for it. It's totally blind. Here it is. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Let's have a look at, let's say, the influences, the sacred geometry of the moment, especially concerning the new moon Sagittarius eclipse. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. I don't know why, Gregory, but this has given me a tremendous sense of comfort for you. Tremendous sense of comfort. Where Again, this is not an ace, but it feels like it's really loaded up with opportunity. It feels like, I think it's loaded up with the new moon Sagittarius eclipse energy, where this is a tremendous time, a tremendous opportunity for you to go forward in life in a very, let's say, measured way through years of experience, going forward, knowing that you're entering new territories, new life, new world, new situations where things could, in theory, be highly unstable, unpredictable. And yet, the energy that's actually out there available to you, to which you can tap in and enjoy, is extremely supportive of you going forward in your journey. Again, like Necessary was saying earlier, you have to invite this in. So this is out there. This is available to you. To me, this feels like it's a really powerful, solid, grounding, stabilizing energy going forward in life, where every day you wake up and you think, okay, what is the most wholesome and fruitful and practical thing I can do today, right now, for me in my life, in my world? Because I know from hanging out with Terra Lumination that that's the best thing I can do for everyone else in my immediate vicinity. And so it's like a ripple in a pond, you know? If you're arriving and starting a new life in a new world, it's like throwing a pond in a lake or a river or something like that, and it sends out ripple effects. That's what I'm feeling very, very, very strongly here for you, Gregory, is that in a very, very, almost like really super subtle way, this is a really good time for you in life where you can reprogram, reformat everything in such a way that you do everything as if you were like a very, very rich, practical farmer. Someone who has substance. Like, let's just say you are a person of substance, and then what do you do with that? What you do with that is that you grow more, you plant more, you make it your business to optimize the goodness that you've got going already, okay? To me, this looks like really benefic energy for you, financially going forward in your life, in your world, like how you interact with your world and how the world responds to you. When you look at your life and your world and you decide, you know what? In my own way, I'm freaking lucky. I have the energy of abundance on my side. No one's going to take me down. That's not even the issue. It's the question is, what are we going to do going forward from here? And you might be breaking new ground, new territory, new scenarios. And that's fine. But all of it is coming from the energy of benevolence. Really rich Jupiter energy here. Benevolence in a way that you're coming from the energy of, what is self-serving for you is success, is having success. And by doing that, when you are successful, you have the chance to offer that and bring that to your surroundings. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. What's the situation itself? Wow. So we've got the Magician here, number 1 card. Now the thing about this card, to me, it's all about power. It's only understanding like, wow, I think this relates very strongly with this Sagittarius new moon. You might have a very, very deep and very subtle, but very rich and pure and satisfying glimpse like, wow, I'm kind of in a sweet spot here. if I'm honest with myself, I look around in my world, I have the passions and the drive. I have the resources now. I have the intellect and the knowledge. I have the compassion and the love. Question is, what am I going to do with all of that? Interesting. I can pretty much do whatever the bleep uck I want. So what's that going to look like going forward? Wow. Whoa. Remember, Gregory, with great power comes great responsibility. And so I think you already know that. Your natural default setting is wholesome, good, caring, and benevolent for others. So it's time to have like a double duty situation here where it works for you and it works for others. So you're not constantly having to be the warrior and the champion of other people. You can now be the champion of yourself, and that makes you that puts you in a new situation of almost like where you've never been before. That's how I'm looking at this. Like, wow, I get to recalibrate myself where I can really optimize my talents and gifts, my knowledge, my wisdom, my passion, my drive, my love, my caring. Whoa, holy uck, what's that going to look like? Wow. Obviously, you're not going to exploit that for grandiosity or self-aggrandizement or depleting others for your benefit. That's not this story at all. It's almost like realizing like, wow, I am a freaking gift to the community. I'm a freaking gift to humanity. What's this going to look like going forward? Okay, what's the problem here? Okay, with the Ten of Swords, let's face it, you've reached a point of culmination where it's no longer acceptable. All the excruciating, interminable, unresolvable pain and suffering that you've had to carry for so long for other people and their dilemmas and their tragedies, which ultimately translates into a lot of pain and suffering for you. To me, it looks like it's over, but the problem is understanding that it's over. So with the Ten of Swords here, it's almost like, okay, Gregory, if because we've worked together before, you have a history of going out there fighting for people who can't fight for themselves, being the lawman and going up against all odds, against highly corrupt systems and situations and people in order to bring justice and truth and honesty and integrity into the lives of others who deserve that. But that's all been done sort of at the expense of yourself, where it's like you took on so much pain of the other people that it actually became detrimental to yourself. And it feels to me like if that's your default, it's almost like the energy of the compassion junkie, okay, Gregory? It's just like, it can be incredibly satisfying to go to war for somebody else and to achieve some kind of reconciliation or justice. It feels so pure because it's so selfless. But you can get to the point where it's completely self-defeating, because you deserve a life of your own too, and bring it back in harmony and balance. So with the Ten of Swords here, this is going to sound really weird, but it might feel very difficult and strange and odd for you to give up the battle, to give up the mantle and the shield and the weapons of war that you've had to carry for so long, on behalf of other people because it's been so fulfilling. And then like basically saying, you know what? So in other words, TL, you're telling me like my problem is that I'm having difficulty letting go of painful, highly combative situations that are not really my business anymore because it doesn't matter anymore. I have a life for myself now. So, and I know it sounds weird, but that's what I'm sensing here, okay, Gregory? Like, look at it this way. Like, imagine the energy of a frontline combat soldier. And that's all they've known. That's all they've done. They're constantly fighting, killing, destroying, maintaining the truth, defending the defenseless from the oppressors. And somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, you know what? It's over. You've done a great job. You can retire now. You don't have to be in the front lines of war anymore. And you're like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And the message here is like, well, new starts and new beginnings. Try telling a frontline combat military vet in America, whether it's like Army, Navy, Air Force, SWAT, whatever it is. Tell them like, hey, you don't have to do that stuff anymore. You can actually, lay down arms and you can set aside the struggle. You don't have to keep continuously dying and dying over and over again for other people to protect and defend those who can't defend themselves. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? What do I do now? Let's have a look. Okay, so how are we going to deal with this? Because this, to me, this looks like a new chapter in life unfolding. Again, I'm relating strongly to the new moon eclipse. The Sagittarius energy is, to me, it looks very beneficial for you. But it's a definite shift away from life as you knew it to life as it's coming into being. And to me, that looks like there's a lot of question marks around this magician energy. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my strength, my power, my compassion, my resources? Okay, how are we going to go forward here? Okay, so we've got the Six of Wands. To me, it feels like you deserve a bit of a break. You deserve a little bit of time to yourself where you can look in the mirror, you can kind of strut around. I mean, this is going to sound really weird, but this would be kind of almost like a tarot illumination thing. I mean, I don't do this every day, but it would be the sort of thing where I would stand back, give myself 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds in front of a full-length mirror, and I would look at myself and go, you know what? I just got a reading from Tarot Illumination. I said, look, I don't have to do that stuff anymore. There's a whole new life in front of me. And I've got this, I've got that, and I've got in my own way, I am a winner. I have already achieved what I have to achieve. So what does life look like going forward now? Well, it's kind of like going into this new world where I don't have to be the defender of the defenseless. I don't have to be constantly fighting, taking on everyone's pain and suffering. I can actually I can recalibrate in my life in such a way that's really good for me so that I feel good. When I need rest, I get rest. When I need food, I get food. When I need to engage in something really important for life in the community around me or whatever, then I will do that. But it comes from it's almost like a me first situation. Like the best thing you could do, the way I see it, is put yourself first. Like imagine you're going into a very graceful, hard-earned retirement, where you can basically say, like, well, I'm still Gregory. I have all these achievements, I have these trophies, I have all these weapons and tactics and strategies that I've used to go to war to protect and defend the defenseless. But that's history now. You could put that on your trophy shelf and you go forward like, I'm still here. It's like the energy of drifting into a graceful retirement. Like, wow, I've actually earned this place? Oh. You're still Gregory. Did I say the name Jeffrey? Sometimes I do that. I'm sorry if I did that. I'm sorry. Jeffrey, you're Jeffrey. Gregory, you're Gregory. Okay, so anyway, that's what I'm sensing here is just like, give yourself a break. Look in the mirror, stand back and say, you know what? In my own way, I'm a freaking winner. You know, I deserve a graceful retirement. I deserve to live well. I deserve to be happy. It doesn't mean I'm going to completely check out and just become self-indulgent. I just look at my life and my world in a whole new way. What am I going to do with my compassion, my love, my intelligence, my honor, my drive, my integrity? You don't have to answer those questions right now. But that's what's there. That's what I'm seeing here for you. That's the magician energy. It's like looking in the mirror. Understand that you have all of that. But the question is, what are we going to do now? To me, it looks good. It looks good because you've already earned it all. And so what does it look like going forward? You're entering into a whole new chapter. Whole new situation. New decisions, new perspectives, new concepts. New ways of looking at yourself. New ways of understanding yourself. Look in the mirror like, Never thought about that before. Wow. Right, okay. That's what I'm sensing. And then going forward, again, maintaining your natural integrity, compassion, honesty, passion, drive, and all of that. But in a completely new context. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Give yourself a break. Allow yourself to feel like, for the moment, if I'm honest with myself, I'm a winner. I really, really am. And there are people out there who appreciate me. They might not say it to my face right now at this moment in time, but I know deep down in my soul that I'm a winner, I'm a champion, I have achieved what others cannot achieve. And I've helped them enjoy what it feels like to be a winner in their lives and their world. Thank you very much. You deserve an applause, Gregory. Thank you very much. Well, there we go, folks. Oh, I just saw that from Sarah. Sarah, I can't take it anymore right now. It looks like, oh, you poor thing. You look like you're in a state of misery. Sarah, can you please contact me here? This is my email, okay? A little book about at yahoo.com. Okay? A little book about at yahoo.com. Sarah, please get in touch with me, okay? We're going to sort something out for you, okay? Everybody, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to read for you. I know we only had 3 readings, and I just went rambling on and on and on about Pluto and America and the eclipses and everything, but I had to get it out of me, and people need to know this stuff. The world needs to know about this stuff. Seriously. thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to tuck all this away. I'm going to tuck all this away over here. I'm going to hang out with you guys for a few moments. And then we're going to chillax. Cheers, everybody. All right, here we are. So, okay, so I hope that helps you, Gregory. I mean, you never know what's going to show up in these readings. Sometimes we get something that's like really microscopic, like detail about someone's life. And because we're doing these things live, I feel like I have to be very kind of a bit careful about what I say and how I say it. It's quite different from doing a personal reading. If anybody's out there watching this and you want a personal reading, again, go back to that email. It's like what I was just showing to Sarah. A little book about at yahoo.com, and we can book something private. Okay, it's pretty easy. Hello, Fritterly. Fritterly, I heard through word of mouth that you've been through tremendous stuff recently. Again, you're not dead yet, okay? Life goes on. Huge changes happened to you recently in your world. Not to you necessarily, but your surroundings and your people. Gregory, thank you. Necessary, thank you. I think I'll do a little song, yeah. Okay, I'll just do something. I want to do a song called Wonder Ride. It's actually a birthday present to my associate in New Zealand. She's very close to my heart. Her heart is very close to mine. It's difficult to be there. I'm living in Las Vegas, America right now. Las Vegas, Nevada. And she's over there in New Zealand on the North Island. Hello, Karen, if you're still there. Hello, New Zealand. You're kind of heading into summertime now. Anyway, it is an amazing journey. It is like a wonder ride. I think of it as the wonder ride. So long as you stay very, very tightly and precisely in the moment, living in the now, decision by decision by decision by decision, as consciously as possible. So much of human behavior is contingent on our reflexes, our conditioning, our DNA, all in such a way that it's designed for survival. Literally, to live another day. The thing about certain parts of society, we've already figured out how to do that. And so people are learning like how to become more and more rich than ever before. How to survive and grow and expand. 150, 200 years ago, you were lucky to live to 60 years old. And there wasn't a lot of medicine for anything except like I don't know, folklore or herbal medicine or the local doctor, and they did what they could. But in general, the birth rate was extremely high and the death rate was extremely high. And that's how it was for humanity for like 150,000 years. And nobody questioned it because what alternative was there? But in the last 150 years or so, it's not a coincidence. Human beings discovered Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto and everything that goes with that. And since those discoveries, there's a parallel curve of massive global expansion of humanity, survival, and I would say consciousness and awareness. And that's all part of the evolution. So in the last few days, we just went through another little evolutionary gateway on the journey of human evolution. And that evolutionary gateway was the Sagittarius new moon solar eclipse. So life moves on. Clickety, clickety, click. What now, what now, what now, what now? We're living in the moment. We're figuring it out. Hello, Robin. I'm going to play a song called The Wonder Ride. If I can find it. Let's see if it works here. It's a celebration of the amazing journey of life, the never-ending ups and downs of life. If you want to, you can let it make you feel miserable. If you want to, you can feel it as an amazing, epic adventure. Hint, hint, Sagittarius new moon eclipse. What are we going to do now?
Okay, we are rolling. So,
it's a slow waltz. It's a very old-fashioned kind of song, the way I wrote it. Maybe LINA will do a cover version of this one day. Maybe Adele will do a cover version. Who knows? I hope you like it. It's all about the adventure. Woo! It's like being on a roller coaster. Woo! Woo! Here we go.
This is a birthday present for my sweetheart. Just wanted to share this. Okay, here we go. It's called Wonder Ride.
It's a slow waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
My dear, this is my birthday present to you, to celebrate the day that heaven made you. It's remarkable that we both found one another. The day we set out on our transformation ride with each other at each other's side, it soon became evident that we are both changing. And it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. And now that our journey, it starts to unfold in a multi-dimensional world of untold delights that truly defy the imagination. You've naturally taken it up on yourself to document all of the nuances that go to make up a story of extraordinary proportions. And it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. Yeah, it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride.